Hello, nerds! Nerds for Humanity. It has been a while since I've done a live stream. I've been doing a lot of shorts lately, but I wanted to do one with Spider and Rom because they've been co-conspirators on the Nerds for Democracy board game. And we kind of reached a point where we're pretty happy with what we've got and wanted to talk about the making of the game. And if anybody is interested in purchasing one, there'll be a limited edition. You can just email me, Tom, at nerdsforhumanity.com, and we'll let you know. We're not going to try and make a lot of money on it. It's more of a project of passion and interest. But why don't we let Rom and Spider introduce themselves, and then we'll kind of get into like the origin story and the journey we've been on. Rom, you want to start off? You're muted.
Okay, I'm Ram. I'm an expert at machine learning. Lately, more about agentic AI, building AI agents, more on the applied AI side. I also make board games for fun as a passion. So that's how we started this game last year. Tom and I got into a very interesting discussion, and I didn't realize Tom was such a politics aficionado. So once I realized that, I pulled out an old concept I had, and we started working on it. And we have a game we are very happy with, and we're sure you'll enjoy too.
Yeah. I remember, Ron, when we first talked. It was I feel like it was a summer, maybe spring of 24, and it was like, oh, maybe we can get it done in time
for the election.
The elections. And like every project, they sometimes take a little longer than you anticipate. But I mean, I know in our play testing, we're obviously biased. We had a good time.
Yeah,
with the latest version. Yeah,
and we got good feedback too along the way. So that's something I'm super happy that we stuck to the process instead of rushing it for the election. I'd much rather have a good game than have it on time.
Agree. Spider, you're OG Yang Gang. Tell us about your kind of how you got caught up in this and what the early part of joining the project was like for you.
I'm also a longtime listener of the Nerds for Humanity channel.
That is very true, Spider. Very true. One of the earlies, yes, when we're still Nerd for Yang.
During the Yang Gang days, you would be my go-to source for all the political goings on. I'm not really that much of a political guy, so I relied on your channel to keep me up to speed as far as what's going on. But yeah, I'm been in the Yang Gang for 5 years, and I'll be an intern for Forward coming up starting tomorrow, I believe. And
what are you doing for the Forward party?
I really don't know. They asked me. there was a list of a few things that were like the criteria for the internship. But the person that I talked to named Mario, he was like the coordinator, and he asked me what I would want to do. And I said I was better at the creative end of things, but I would pretty much do whatever they want. I'd be intern if they need bathrooms cleaning or coffee made. That's my job. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
Love it. Well, why don't I do this? I'll show some folks the files from that we've been putting together so people can get a sense of what the game looks like, and then maybe each of us can talk about like what our favorite parts of the game are. But let me start off with a little screen share. Plus share screen. Okay. Hopefully this will open up for you guys. So we'll start with the board. Okay, so it's like a lot of tabletop games. There's a place you start up here, and your objective is to kind of make your way around. Each player has a little piece kind of like Monopoly or any other board game, and you roll a dice. But you also get dealt these choice cards every round, and you keep a choice card out of the 3 that you're dealt. You give the other 2 back. That choice card may help you later, because what happens later is we then reveal a major event, and that major event can benefit you depending on what choice cards you're holding in your hand. So like if there's like a big you know major like a conspiracy or some terrible news event happens, but you have a choice card that gives you like crisis response, or if some environmental event happens but you have a choice card that gives you strong environmental policy chops, that could then allow you to move more than what you rolled. So it kind of advances you further down the field. And then on each of the spaces, sometimes there's like a breaking news event that just affects you, or there could be a debate space where you have to, basically debate someone else playing about a topic. So that's a little bit on just kind of like orienting everybody to the kind of the way the game works, in terms of like you each player is running for office. You're trying to make it around the whole thing as fast as you can, get to the White House first. But along the way, you've got to make choices. Things happen. There's a little bit of player-to-player competition and interaction, so it's super fun. Before I show off some of the cards, because I think those are really fun to look at, Ram or Spider, anything you want to add about the board itself or the game mechanics?
One of the aspects that I really like is the fact that, and I've only played this with a total of 3 players, but if a person is like dead last, they're not like it's not like hopeless for them, right? And there's aspects to where they have direct impact on, let's say, if the person in 3rd place as a person that they would prefer to win, there's ways that they can influence and help that person win or sabotage the other person. There's quite a few aspects to the game, but that's personally my favorite.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if you're in last place, you're often the judge for
that too, yep.
For a debate, and you get to pick who the winner is.
Yep,
and then too. Yeah, and then there are other things where someone may land on a space on the board, and it's like, oh, you have to give the last place player one of your choice cards. So we try to engineer it so that even if you're a little far behind, like you're still able to kind of engage. Ram, any thoughts on your side about the board?
So the game mechanics allow for a lot of surprises throughout the game. Not only the breaking news cards, but also the debate topics themselves are quite fun. Mm-hmm. And I have been in many playtest games also, right? So it's just that the game has succeeded in drawing people into the world, and it's a lot of fun. I have not been in a single playtest so far where people were not laughing out loud during the game. That's the best part for me. People enjoying playing the game.
Yeah, that was a really interesting insight, where I was thinking, maybe because of my interests, that the debates would be most interesting if it were around like policy. But I think, Ram, you rightly encouraged us to offer non-political debate topics, so people could debate like, oh, should you have pineapple on pizza, or is it what is it okay to like, what's your favorite food, or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be about politics, And I agree with you. Those were the debates where you get more fun, more laughter, and so that was a good addition. Spider,
Yeah.
any debate observations from your side?
Well, I was thinking that I'm sure there are people that prefer the light topics, and there are some people that'll prefer like the more serious, more political policy debates. And I think it would be good to have both options for just in case somebody wants to be more serious about the game.
Yeah, and that's where like depending on what the dynamic is with your friends that are playing. If let's say the three of us were playing and I had to debate Rom, Spider could choose what topic we could debate. So Spider could say, "Oh, debate UBI," or he could say, debate whether pickup trucks are better than SUVs. It could be really anything. So yeah, that's really cool. All right, I'll show you all anything else about the boards before I show people some of the choice cards.
So, like we went through multiple iterations of the board, the number of spaces on each side, the actual contents on each space, rules for the spaces, and due to playtesting feedback, we improved it iteratively multiple times. And even now, while we are very happy with the way the current layout enables a very fun, competitive play, we are still open to inputs. So if you buy the playtest kits and play them, please send us more of your thoughts.
Yeah. This is I think we feel pretty good about where we are right now. And if people want to buy this is the first edition, might become a collector's edition. But then maybe in a year or two, we might come up with a second edition, and it could reflect a lot of the input that we got from first edition users. The same way this edition reflects a lot of input we got from early playtesters over the last year or so. All right, let me show you all some of the choice cards. So every round you'll get dealt 3 of these, and then you keep one and then return 2.
So Tom, the screen, now it came up.
Yeah. So this one, like let's say you got dealt this one, you could seek endorsements early in your campaign, and then if you have this card plus media strategy and voter outreach, you get +1 for each turn. So it's a little bit like collecting cards, and you can build like almost like poker hands in this case. Like you have a pair of seek endorsement and media, or seek endorsement and voter outreach. This one is a national security policy. So if there's like a major event with like a war or something like that, or an attack or something like that, then if you had this card, you probably advance further if that major event took place. Kudos to Spider for awesome design on this one. I like this one. And then here's another one, or you can invest in your campaign team. You can get crisis management, debate preparation. So if you have this one, you can cut your debate opponent's time in half in terms of how much time they can debate. So this is where there's a little bit of luck and strategy involved, but it's also like the kind of candidate you'd want to be. Maybe you are big into national security, and so you want to have that card, or you're big into debates, so you want to have that card. Ram, anything you want to share about the choice cards? Because I know we spent a good amount of time, and that was always a fun element.
So choice cards are super powerful in combinations. So while you collect choice cards, you have to play a couple of times to realize the extra power they can unlock for you.
Right.
So some cards become more powerful if you also have some other cards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, there's lots of dynamic activity in the game. So as you play along and you keep the choice, you select choice cards that are of immediate value. Uh, Someone collecting them for long-term value might also be a decent chance at winning, might also have a decent chance at winning the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and we definitely played around. Like originally, it was like, oh, you get dealt 5 and you keep 3, and so we kind of this is again partly from the playtesting and the feedback we got to kind of simplify it. So the current rules are you get dealt 3, you keep 1, and you just keep holding on to them. Spider, any thoughts on the choice cards? Anything you want to share around your experience working on them or using them in the tests?
I just wanted to add that I like the deck building aspect of the game, that you can use cards in tandem with each other to build, and then you can either use it to advance yourself or screw over somebody else, or like you said, cut the debate time in half. I like that. I like that, the deck building aspect of it, and the deck itself was fun to work on.
Yeah, this is a nice looking deck. Yes, and there's actually quite a few choice cards, so you'll likely have very little duplication, and there's just a lot of fun variety to it. The cousin of the choice card is the major event card. I'll show you guys some examples of that one. So again, you might roll the dice, but then something's going to happen that impacts how far you can go beyond your roll based on what choice cards you're holding in your hand. So let's say, let me open up one of the examples. Ooh, yeah, wow, there's some really fun designs on this major event. So here, cyber attack. So if you had national security policy, you actually get to go +3 beyond your roll. If you have tech policy or rapid response, you get +2 and +1. Now, if you had debate prep, early states, and investing in campaign team, then you don't get any benefits from this event. So that's one example. I'll show you a couple of others. High profile celebrity endorsements. And then these are the associated choice cards that could get you some extra spaces. Ooh, major corruption scandal. Military conflict, public health event. Ooh, monkeypox cases. So here, if you had healthcare policy, obviously you would move very far. Corporate bankruptcy. So there's 37 major events that can happen. So it's pretty fun. Yeah. And actually it just made me start to think, oh, if we do like the second edition, maybe we can tie like a debate about a major event. But there's so many different directions we can go. Ram, any thoughts on the major event cards? They were so much fun.
Yeah, so we tried to make sure the major events cover the full spectrum of what can happen during a campaign run, and the combination of the choice cards and the major events together makes for a really fun and competitive game.
Yeah. And just so everybody understands, when a major event happens, everybody can advance if they hold those choice cards in their hands. So it's a group activity where you can basically, all see who benefits from it. And sometimes nobody will, but usually like one person will get a benefit and everybody else will be like, oh. Spider, any thoughts on the major events?
I don't really have anything more to add. I just agree with what you guys said about it.
Yeah, these are fun, and they all seem pretty realistic. Ooh, yeah, unexpected withdrawal, national disaster, hostilities in the Middle East, more scandals, depression, recession, social movements. Yeah, so there's that. And then there's the let's see here. I'll go back one more. I'll show you now the breaking news. Okay, so breaking news is a little different than major events in that instead of it impacting everybody, it just impacts the person who landed on a square on the board that says breaking news. So I'll show you all what that looks like. Share screen, breaking news deck. Okay. So you might land on a breaking news square on the board. You draw from the deck. It says, oh, you fell off your skateboard. That's going to move you plus or minus spaces. Or you did this crazy kind of viral thing and made a half court shot. If you're not in first place, roll again. If you're in last place, add 2 to your bonus roll. So this is that thing that Spider was talking about where we're trying to help out, keep the field competitive. Movie star romance controversy. Move back 2 and give up your endorsement card if you have one. If you're in last place, no impact. Pentagon Papers controversy ensnares you. Move back 2 unless you have a national security card. If you have a national security card, you can actually move ahead. So that's a little taste of the breaking news. Ram, any thoughts on this one?
Oh yeah, I love the skating board one, the skateboard. Every time it pops up, it gets me a smile. So the overall game is made that much more fun by the debates and the breaking news cards. And again, you can't plan for the breaking news. Like I studied them, I designed most of them. So even then, I can't plan for them ahead of time. You can't collect a choice card set anticipating specific major events or breaking news cards. So that makes it even more challenging and fun. And that brings in that element of strategy, right? It's not just dumb luck driving you through the game. You have to make conscious choices every step of the way. And it's not a very simple, easy thing to strategize for because of all the randomness built in.
Yeah. Spider, how did you feel designing these?
They were fun. I try to make them a little on the humorous side, and I like the fact that these cards, they throw a little chaos into the game. They can either help you or they can set you back. I like that.
They're very realistic. I mean, I've seen these things happen.
I'm still waiting for the alien message.
Unflattering photo at the beach. These are great. All right. So those are the breaking news. And then I think the only other thing that I'll show is, let's see, major events, breaking news. Okay, so I think I'll just go back to the board now, just so everybody can kind of grok how this all comes together. So you get dealt your choice cards, then a major event happens, then you roll the dice, and then you act on the spaces. So you hold on to cards that you're dealt. You get dealt 3, you hold on to 1. The next round, you still have the 1, you get 3 more, you hold on to another 1, now you have 2, so forth. So you start building up a bunch of choice cards. Then we pick one major event card from the top of the major event deck that impacts you based on what choice cards you're holding. And you move forward a certain number of spaces. Then you roll the dice, and then you act on the board spaces, which could be current events, or it could be like a debate, or it could just be something where you trade cards with someone else or you steal cards from someone else. So, and then, yeah, if you're the first one to get all the way around, then you become president. So that's our little, 25-minute behind the scenes on making of Nerds for Democracy. Any closing thoughts on this game project, Ram, and then we'll go to Spider.
So, um, I mean, the one consistent theme we have been aiming for throughout our design process is to keep it fun, make sure the game playing experience is uh, enjoyable. And like I said, I have not been in a single playtesting session where people were not laughing out loud because of how the game progresses and how much fun they're having. The debates get quite interesting. The especially for some of these fun debate topics which are not politics based, uh, the opinions can get super crazy. Even the politics ones are very funny. Uh, one of the debate topics was like, what's your stump speech?
Hmm.
And yeah, obviously the objective of the game is for you to win the presidential race. So you have a lot of opportunity to put your stump speeches in front of people and have them discussed and debated. It'll be quite fun.
Yeah, those debates, I think, were some of the most interesting parts of the game, and we tried to optimize how often they happen. Like, we wanted them to happen like once every kind of side of the board, so there might be like 3 or 4 debates across the whole game. And yeah, they're fun. They're fun to be put under the pressure and then to kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, and we have the timer too for the debates. So
Yeah.
people don't just drone off. You're forced to make your case in the allotted time.
Yes. Spider, any other thoughts on your part? Like, what was anything else you want to share for viewers on the game?
Well, all three of us did play tests with various people, and the feedback that we got back was kind of all over the place. There was different feedback. One person liked this aspect, one person didn't like that aspect. One person had a beef with birds for some reason. But the universal feedback was from everybody was that everybody had fun. And when the three of us played, we played what, 2 times, I think. We all laughed and had fun during the game. So that is the universal takeaway that I have from this, is that this game is fun, and people that play it, they're gonna like it.
Yeah, I agree. And it also, I think, it definitely works for political junkies who like the idea of running for president, like making choices and weird stuff happening. I think it did have more crossover interest than I anticipated, because when I was doing play testing with various friends and family, even the ones that weren't super into politics, like, they found it accessible, because you're not being tested on, like, policy or law or anything like that. But
Right.
you do get the sense of, like, okay, this is a competition, stuff is going to happen, I have to adapt, and I've got to beat the other players on the board. All right, with that, before I let you guys go and thank some of the channel members and give them some shout outs, maybe we could, since we're all on the live stream at the moment, are there any hot political things that you are interested in just chatting about for a few minutes, since as much as this main purpose of the stream was give them the little behind the scenes of the making of the game, I mean, it is the Nerds for Humanity channel. Like, there's a lot going on. Anything you want to talk about, Ram or Spider? I have a few topics.
We were supposed to do that session last weekend, but I couldn't connect, right? So, I mean, if we have enough time, we can go over that today.
Yeah. Well, you had been thinking about U.S. trade.
Yeah, essentially the tariff policy.
Yeah. What is your view on it, Ram?
So the first thing is, who exactly pays when a tariff is levied, right? It's us as consumers. Mm-hmm. So the tariff is an import duty. It's an import tax, effectively. So if you import something from a different country, we as consumers have to pay some tariff on top of whatever is the price for that product. So that makes imported goods expensive for us. And in principle, that is used to either protect domestic industries from dumping from uh, other countries, or to encourage local production. uh, if you which is good in principle, right? If your industry needs that kind of protection and the consumers switch to local sources, tariffs make sense. But the way this government has been uh, brandishing tariffs like a sword, threatening and using it as a negotiation tactic, I don't know if it's achieving the objective that it typically is used for. There's more chaos, more confusion, and I don't think we have many domestic operators coming up with alternatives for imported stuff yet. Right? That's not enough time for production to ramp up for that. So it will be a long while before we see any positive effects on domestic industry.
So is your view that the president's current tariff policy is good or neutral or bad for the country?
The policy itself is difficult for me to judge. There's just too many changes happening. But the thing I can say is not good for us is the way it's being executed, where it's on one day, the next day in the news they say it's off, then again there's a 90-day moratorium or something. Uh, that kind of unpredictability is hard for people to plan around, and that uncertainty causes uh, even more instability, and prices and everything go up.
Yeah. I have thoughts on that. I'm going to share in a second, but I want to see, Spider, do you have any thoughts on all the tariff stuff, or what's your view on it, on that, or have you been following it?
Oh, I've been kind of sort of following it, I guess. And I don't know, man. It's as just a disabled person, it's hard enough to make ends meet at the end of the month as it is, and it just seems like it's only going to get worse. I mean, it doesn't seem like for people on the low end of the earning spectrum, or it doesn't seem like anything is happening to benefit them. It just seems like it's all to benefit the people at the top, and I don't know.
It's a fascinating topic because on the one hand, Trump won, in my opinion, because he said he was going to make things more affordable. And then on the other hand, he's bragging about how he's collecting all of these billions of dollars in tariffs. And most people, I don't know if they're connecting the dots at like, well, those tariffs are being paid for by American consumers. It's basically a tax on consumers. Now, I have a lot of MAGA family members who will, if they were here, they would be like, oh, but it's only fair because we're not getting access to the other markets, which is a very easy to understand and valid argument in some ways. But I don't think like putting tariffs on Vietnamese like shoes and T-shirts like doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, if they lower their tariffs on our exporters, they're suddenly going to be buying like thousands of F-150s and Escalades and or, you know, super high end like chips and things like that. But it's a very compelling talking point that Trump uses, this whole like, oh, we're getting ripped off kind of thing. So yeah, I think we haven't, you know, part of the other thing is that I mean, he's kind of diabolical in this way. He hasn't really implemented all of the tariffs that he's talked about. He's paused a lot of them. And so we haven't really gone through the inventory on the old stuff before we're going to have to pay more for the newer kind of supplies coming in. I think it's going to be maybe more around Christmas shopping that you'll start seeing it. But, you know, as an example, one of my sons had to get a new computer, and he was like, "Oh, the price, I saw my old computer at Costco." And I was like, "Oh, how much did it cost?" And he was like, "Oh, it was exactly what it cost 2 years ago." And I was like, "Well, usually prices of computers go down. The fact that it's not gone down means that that probably has some tariff implications." So I think people are starting to see it, and it's sad that it will harm the people with the least disposable income. So the kind of cynicism I see in the Trump policy is that he gets support from working class folks, middle class folks, but then his policies can harm working class folks, and then he cuts taxes for millionaires and billionaires. But you can't dispute the fact that his people still love him. So there you have
Again,
it.
like it's a cumulative thing, right? Like they might be doing good in other areas. They might be being perceived as doing good in other areas, but only looking at the tariffs and how they are being implemented, it looks like they could be doing better.
Yeah, that's the thing about tariffs. Like, I think there's a smart way to do tariffs, which is like, hey, there are strategic industries that the US absolutely wants to protect and support domestic kind of production for long-term kind of strategic reasons for the country's well-being, like chips or AI stuff or EVs or obviously like, any military industrial stuff. But then putting tariffs on like shoes that are like sewn by low paid workers, like no one I don't know if a lot of people in the US want those jobs. Like, do they really want to be making t-shirts, for $1.50 an hour kind of thing? So I think that's the sad part about Trump kind of brought tariffs back, but he's done it in such a haphazard and chaotic way that I don't think we're going to get the benefits that we could have gotten, and many people will have to pay more, and then that money that they collect from the tariffs will just go to barely paying back some of the tax cuts for millionaires and more.
So, and that's my point, right? This government, not just this time, but the previous time around too, their whole core position was that we'll cut taxes, we'll reduce the tax burden on individuals. But tariffs actually increase that. This is just taxing through the other side channel. Even if you cut income taxes, you're still taxing people on it's like a purchase tax or a sales tax. So it's not completely gone. And again, to your point, it's only beneficial to us to impose a tax on, say, shoes and belts from other countries if domestic production of those particular items is going to go up. But if that's not likely to happen, or there's no other incentive for domestic producers to step in and offer a cheaper alternative, they don't help, right? On the other hand, I've seen this argument too, that because of all this uncertainty and aggressive saber rattling with tariffs, it's damaging the US's trustworthiness with trade partners. Again, I don't know, I haven't seen the numbers, but this is the kind of narrative that feeds off the uncertainty caused by the news. You just showed the news, right, in a couple of minutes ago. When you see news like that, that breeds uncertainty, which breeds narratives, which say we are losing trustworthiness with our trading partners. So that could cause long-term damage. Whether it gives any short-term benefit or not is still debatable, but it looks like it's more likely to cause long-term damage.
Yeah. The other thing that Trump seems to have kind of convinced a lot of his followers is that, oh, we're making so much money off of these tariffs. Like, again, he doesn't seem to remind people that they're the ones paying for the tariffs. It's not like China's not paying for the tariffs. It's the people buying stuff at Walmart that are paying for the tariffs. But regardless, he's like, oh, we're raking in billions and billions of dollars in tariffs. The problem we have is that in just 2025 alone, we already added $1.6 trillion to the deficit under Trump. Right. So if this was the guy who was like, oh, I'm going to run it like a business, and, Joe Biden spent money like a drunken sailor. Let's remember, Trump didn't even try to balance the budget. He didn't even try to kind of spend less than he brought in. And he's going to explode the debt to probably $4 trillion because of the tax cuts.
$40 trillion.
Oh, yeah.
It's already at 37.
Yeah, sorry, 40. Order of magnitude off. Yeah.
So, no, I was saying there was this bill, big, beautiful bill or something, right? Which was supposed to reduce the debt burden, but ended up actually increasing it by $2 or $3 trillion. Do you have any more info on that?
One more time, Rob?
No, there was a big, beautiful bill.
Yes.
That was supposed to reduce the debt burden of the nation.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And that's where the 4 and the 40 I got swapped out. That big, beautiful bill is adding an additional $4 trillion to the debt based on all the projections, which would then take the total debt to 40 trillion. Now, there was an alternate universe where Trump could have said, hey, I'm going to cut spending across the board by whatever, 5%, or I'm just not going to grow any more spending. Like, every cabinet secretary is going to have to make do with last year's budget. Like, we're just not going to grow it. And he even Pete Hegseth had previously promised to reduce the defense spending by 8%, and then they buried that. They never talked about it again. They actually increased defense spending. So there was a world where the big, beautiful bill could have tried to have, for the first time since like Bill Clinton, a balanced budget. But none of the Republicans in Congress wanted it, asked for it, and certainly Trump didn't ask for it. And I think the reality is that this is where we as Americans, you kind of get the government that you want, because I don't think voters are penalizing politicians for running deficits. Like, I think it's just become like accepted. And if you did run for office and you said, hey, good news, I'm going to balance the budget, but that means I'm going to make cuts across the government, and I'm not going to cut your taxes. Like, good luck trying to run on that. Like, an economist would say, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You're lowering your spending and you're maintaining your tax collections, and so soon you'll match the lines. But I don't think that's a hard sell in American politics.
Which is surprising, right? For a second-term president, that's an easy thing to stand behind. They can easily take tough positions, because it's not like he's running for re-election after the term.
Yes, like, you could in your second term say, like, I'm going to be in legacy building mode and I don't need to get reelected, but a couple things will happen. Your popularity and approval rating will go down. Your party will suffer, because the other party will say, the Democrats in this case would say, if Trump tried to like balance the budget, they would say, oh, look, he's heartless, cutting all these things, and he doesn't care about the American people, blah, blah, blah. And if a Democratic president said, oh, I'm going to balance the budget, the Republicans would say, oh, look, he's a tax and spend politician. He's not going to lower your taxes. We have too much of a tax burden on job creators, or whatever term they want to use for millionaires and billionaires. And so it's a position that if you take it, you're not going to get a ton of credit, and you're going to get blasted by your opposition. Your approval
Then how did Clinton do it? Didn't he bring the national debt down to zero?
He did. I think part of it was he had, and maybe the Republicans don't get enough credit for this, but he did have Newt Gingrich in there running the House. And so I think that might have given Bill Clinton a little bit of political cover to say, like, look, I got to cut a deal and I don't control the House. So in order to do these things, like, I had to agree to these other things, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it didn't hurt that the economy was doing really well under Clinton as well. This is like the 90s. So we're kind of another tech revolution was happening. So, and Obama came close-ish, but, for Bush, he had the war. So that wasn't easy. And then for Trump, I mean, he cut taxes so much that there was no way he was going to balance the budget. And then the thing with tax cuts is they always say, like, oh, we'll make it up in volume when we have more growth. But that doesn't seem to pan out when you look at history.
Yeah, and the other thing is all these tax cuts, they're generally scheduled to retire and go back to the previous tax schedule.
Yeah.
But then somebody votes to extend them.
Yeah. Yeah, those Trump tax cuts, they were supposed to expire, and then maybe some Democrats or conservative, more fiscally responsible Republicans went along with that because they're like, well, it's a temporary tax cut. But the reality is, like, nobody, if you vote against extending it, you're going to be called a tax raiser. They'll be like, this is the largest tax increase in American history. The other thing is that it gives like this false choice where with the big beautiful bill, they said, listen, if you don't pass this is going to be the largest tax increase in American history. It's really a reversion of the taxes to what they were before Trump's first term. So it's not like, oh, we're going to add all these new taxes. We're basically kind of control-Zing or, undoing the old tax cuts. The other thing is nobody talked about, like, well, is there a third option where maybe we extend the tax cuts for working class people, but we don't for people who make more than $1 million or 10 million or whatever the number is. But that was never part of the conversation. Interestingly enough, not even from the Democrats, because I think they were just so anti-Trump that they were just like, we're against this big, beautiful bill. We don't want to we're not going to try and compromise and work with you. And they had the Republicans had the votes to pass it. And then on the Trump side, like, if he doesn't cut taxes for the rich, then, that affects a lot of his biggest donors and supporters too. So yeah, it's kind of sad with the big, beautiful bill. But this is but by the way, can you believe we've only had this man in office for 8 months? Like less than 8 months. I can't believe it. It feels like he's been here forever.
And so much chaos already.
So much chaos already.
There's 3 more years to go.
All right, last topic before we wrap, and I got to thank my channel members. There's 43 people watching us live right now, so thanks to everybody that's on the live stream. And Pat was saying he might order it. That's great. Love it. We may have got our first purchase. So are either of you excited about anyone for 2028?
It's too early, Tom.
It's never too early, Ron. It's never too early.
I know. I should know, having worked on this game. So, but no,
we gotta have something to look forward to.
But see, one thing is J.D. Vance is probably the clear Republican choice on their side. I don't know if Newsom uh, will be the best contender against Vance. I don't know who else might come into play. I don't know if Harris wants to run again, given how she fared the last time.
The last two times. Because remember, she ran for president in 2020.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but at least that turned out well. She made vice president.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't elected vice president. She was picked as vice president.
Doesn't matter. That was a result of her campaign run, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
She wanted the top spot. She got the second place, which is a good result overall.
So you felt like she ran a good campaign in 2020?
No comments.
All right.
All I'm talking about is the outcome was not bad.
Yeah, I think her outcome probably exceeded her capabilities.
Yeah,
You know,
case
because
can
she
be made.
wasn't as a VP. I don't think she had any big accomplishments, right?
Yeah, I mean, the case can be made for that, definitely. But again, my point is looking forward. If you look at the field, on the Republican side, it looks like Vance is going to be their presumed candidate. On the Democratic side, Newsom might be the person. We don't know if others can. Walz might come back in. Excuse me. Others might come in. We don't know.
Interesting. All right, Spider, who are you excited about for 2028?
I think it's too early for me to tell. I don't even know who's in the mix. So we'll wait and see. I was a Dean Phillips supporter. I was an Andrew Yang supporter. So whoever I support in the future is probably going to be along the same caliber, the underdog.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Dean Phillips.
I don't blame him. The way that he was treated was absolutely horrible. And if I were him, I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back and try to help these people. They made their own mess. They got to clean it up.
Yeah. You know, there probably was a world where maybe the Democratic Party would kind of bury the hatchet with Phillips and maybe even say like, hey, you know, you made some good points and we probably should have taken you more seriously. But I don't think that has happened. I think he's pretty much persona non grata in the Democratic Party.
I think that he would probably swallow his pride and pitch in and help if it came down to it. I don't think he would run as a candidate, but I think he would. I think he would do something to help. He just seems like that sort of guy.
Yeah. And Yang, you know, obviously a lot of us are Yang gang.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Andrew. I also feel like he's got to get some wins too. You know, I think it was hard to take the mayoral loss, especially with such a big lead. Now you could argue like, well, that wasn't his fault. Like the kind of the ground shifted mid race to be more about public safety than kind of pandemic recovery. But I think he's got to get some wins. I think if he ran for president again, people would his OGs would support him. But I don't know if he would get more media attention than he did last time.
No. He would get treated the same way he got treated before.
Yeah. So anyway,
ignored, might cut, name change, name wrong. That's Bob Yang.
Yeah, that's right. I'm most excited for 28 about Wes Moore and Pete Buttigieg. So keep an eye out for those two. I think a Moore Buttigieg ticket I would be very psyched about. Both are really smart. Both have served the country in the military, but also very capable and accomplished in other areas. And they're young and they're energetic and they're ready to go. I agree with you, Ram. This is JD's to lose on the Republican side. I think the only scenario would be if Trump does something terrible.
No, that's what I was saying. It's too early to even say that because if 8 months have resulted in this much chaos, who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 years? And there's a midterms too. We'll have to see what the strategies get played out in the midterms.
Yeah.
Are we going to mention Trump's declining physical and mental health? I don't think that's really all that good.
It's not good, and it's weird, like the purple spots all over him, and then the ankles and whatever. I mean, he is like 80 years old. He's an old dude. I think his supporters don't really care about that stuff, though.
No, but wasn't that the key argument they raised against Biden running again?
It was more his mental capabilities, and I think, say what you want about Trump, he still can put words together and have a 3-hour cabinet meeting where they all praise him, and like that. You didn't see Biden do that probably because Biden was more sensible in some ways, but Biden didn't have the energy. I think he was kind of low energy Biden in some ways, or when he did have energy, it was a little not modulated and was kind of weird looking. So
there's an interesting comment. You might want to put that up.
What?
Pat.
Oh, will there be an election? Yeah, come on, Pat. Can't be that bad. Although, I remember when my wife said, "Hey, if Trump loses, he's probably gonna in 2020." She was like, "Oh, if he loses, he's probably gonna like cause a bunch of mischief." And I was like, "Come on, Wendy, like." He's bad, but nobody will not concede an election. And she was right.
6.
Yeah, exactly. So Jan 6 happened. I was surprised. Maybe I had too much faith in the Constitution. But at any rate,
I mean, we don't know the details of who was behind making that happen, but it's easy to associate Trump with that, right?
Well, he definitely didn't try and stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, if eating like pizza and watching it on TV from your living room is stopping it. But either way, it's only been 8 months, so we have 40 more months to go, and then we will have a new president. By the way, like some people are saying he might run again, basically as Vance's running mate, because I think he is allowed to run as a VP, and then they would do like a switch.
Oh, like a Putin tactic.
Yeah. Like with
But won't he be too old at that time?
I feel like he's too old now. But he likes power, he likes attention, he likes to feel like, I'm the big man. So will he be okay kind of retiring to Mar-a-Lago and not being like the center of attention all the time? Like he kind of thrives on attention. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go and thank the channel members. But any closing thoughts before we wrap up with our group conversation? Ram?
Yeah, so please try our game. We put in a lot of effort I remember the day I pitched the game to you, Tom, and from there to today, we did a lot of activity. There was a lot of design iterations, play tests. We play tested, we handed it out to others to play test, give us feedback. All this effort, and like I was saying, not once did I participate in a playtest or watch a playtest where people did not laugh out loud and have fun playing the game. So that has only amplified now that we are at a set of rules and layout for the game that we are happy with sharing with a wider audience. Please, Tom has put the email up. Purchase the first edition or 0th edition. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Please play. Send us your thoughts. Share your experience online and all that. I would love for you to try our game and hear how you enjoy it.
Love it. For sure. Thanks, Ram. Spider, any thoughts from you before we wrap?
Yeah, everybody that play tested the game, gave feedback. I mean, it wasn't just the three of us that made the game. It was everybody that participated and gave feedback, and it helped shape and craft the game. A lot of changes were made because of the feedback that we got. So, and like I said before, the bottom line is that the game is fun, and anybody who tries it and they should know that they had a hand in helping to make it. So that's what I think.
Yeah. And if you like what we're doing and you want to support this effort, the best way to encourage us to do a 2026 edition is to buy the Founders Edition, the first edition.
Maybe
that'll
we
be a signal for us, like, oh, hey, maybe we should kind of keep investing in this and make it even better.
Maybe we could do it to where anybody who buys this iteration of the game, if we do another iteration, I could do a deck and put like people who purchase the game in on the cards. It's like a thank you.
Oh yeah, they would get credits maybe on the either back of the box or in the instructions or somewhere. They would get recognition.
They could get immortalized.
Yes.
Yeah, and we put some Easter eggs also. So those will be fun to find.
Yeah, I tried doing that with the board itself, but it kind of got, because the graphics are so small, it kind of got rendered out and everything got all cluttered and stuff. But I think maybe the next iteration I'll figure out how to do that better.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I will let you both go, and then I'll just kind of thank the channel members. I might share some more data on the 2028 election, but I will let you guys go and hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Have a great night, guys. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds. See ya.
Bye, nerds.
All right. Okay. Nerds. God, it's been so long. Let's get some closing music. I even remember to do the closing. How do you like them apples? Okay. I'm going to thank the channel members, and then I think I'm going to go over the political betting markets, because maybe we didn't name some candidates for 28 that we should have talked about. I think we hit a lot of them, but we might have missed some. All right, so let me first start with thanking our Nerd Cabinet. These are our biggest supporters, and that, surprise, surprise, the biggest supporter of this channel is Soldier One. He's been supporting this channel for 5 years. Unbelievable, Soldier One. Thank you so much. He is a member of the Nerd Cabinet. Then we have the Nerd Congress, next level down. We'll say total time as a member. Kristen Slevin. Wow, I think she might be one of the oldest members, like from the very beginning. Bike, and I've been reading that name forever. And Zig PC. Love you guys. Then we have the Nerd City Council. Ooh, wow, I feel like the City Council has grown. What the? Is that right? Huh. All right, let me try and read them. Gene, DK, Jackalego, Mr. History, Dean, Galessa, Jay Perrin, Brittany, Anna, Jason, Daniel. The scrolling is so painful. Jeremy, Mickey, Jackson, and Unkigu. All members of the City Council. I feel like you weren't always city. Some of you upgraded, so freaking thank you. Then we have our registered nerds, and I will scroll through those guys. So thank you. Wow, YouTube Prayer Studio, please fix this weird scrolling problem. Oh, Mike Stendorf. There's some old school people here. All right. So that is my thanking of the channel members. Like this channel, I basically had to pay for the live streaming, for some photo editing stuff, for the thumbnails, hosting for the podcast, hosting fees. So, being a channel member helps keep the channel going. Okay, so now I promised you election betting odds. Let's look at them. I haven't done this in a while. I'm kind of excited that we get to do this, because that means there's a world where we won't have freaking Donald Trump anymore. Okay. Share screen. So for the Democratic nomination, The Newsom is most probable. Wow, AOC, then my man Buttigieg, and then Moore. I like these two. Bashir, I don't think he has the gusto. Shapiro is lower than I thought. Whitmer, Harris, Pritzker, and then come on, Michelle Obama's too smart to run. So sounds like it might be maybe one of these five, I guess. I'm thinking Moore, but I would love to see Buttigieg. Okay, in terms of the Democratic, oh, look at Newsom, man. Newsom went from 19% chance to 30, I think, with all the redistricting stuff. So you gotta give credit to Newsom. The guy's doing the right thing. I just prefer Buttigieg and Moore. Okay, so GOP, 54% chance JD Vance, then Rubio, and then DeSantis. The fact that betting markets have Trump as a 4% chance, despite the fact that it's not constitutionally allowed, just tells you all you need to know about American politics right now. Like, how is this even possible? Like, what is this? Okay. But yeah, Vance. If I had to pick a Republican, I would be more comfortable with a Rubio or maybe a Youngkin or a Kemp or a Haley. Yeah. Oh God. Jesus. Yeah. So, at any rate, that's who the betting markets think are going to be. Oh, but who do the betting markets think is actually going to win? Those were the nominees. Let's see. Chances of nominating. Okay, for U.S. president. Oh, wow. Let me share screen again. And we'll wrap after that. All right. Oh, by the way, channel members helped pay for this music that I had composed. Okay, so 27% chance President Vance, then President Newsom, then President AOC, then President Buttigieg. But yeah, freaking Vance. God. I mean, I guess he's more thoughtful than Trump. But I just, when he was like yelling at Zelensky, like being a bit of a kind of like hype man for Trump, I didn't find that very becoming as a future president. But obviously, I'm pretty biased. I'm not a big Trump fan. All right, nerds, I'm going to go. I got to eat dinner, but I hope you all enjoyed the show. If you're interested in the board game, just shoot me an email. It's going to be very limited production, kind of on demand. But you will get really nice physical cards. Like, they'll feel like poker cards. So they'll be laminated. They'll be really nice. The board itself will probably not be like a physical board, just to keep costs down. We're not trying to make money on this. We're just trying to make it affordable for you too. But you can let me know, and if you're like, hey, I want like the full meal deal, I can tell you exactly how much it will cost me, and then we'll just sell it to you at cost. All right. With that, I'm gonna say bye, nerds. Bye-bye.